morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, I've got news of some new cards that are coming over in Japan. Now, I am afraid I do not have pictures of these cards. It's not because I hate you, just don't have pictures of them. This is information that has been given out to shops over in Japan, and I trust this information 100%. Now, my source has asked to be kept confidential, which I completely understand. But it's a source I've used for this kind of information. We haven't had it for a little while, but a little while ago when I had stuff like this, it's the same source as that. That all proved to be completely reliable. It was all above board. So I cannot show you images of the cards, but trust me, these are real. And they are going to make a huge impact on the Pokemon trading card game. Like, they're going to be really good. You see, if I asked you the number one thing we needed right now in order to make non-GX decks viable, you'd say, well, we'll see. We need some Pokemon Search. Well, great news. We're getting 2 new Pokemon Search cards that are going to help so much. And the first one is Quick Ball. Now, weirdly enough, we actually had Quick Ball a while ago. Quick Ball is not a new card per se, but Quick Ball was last printed in Majestic Dawn. It's been a couple of minutes since we actually had Majestic Dawn. That was part of the Diamond and Pearl era. It was actually May 2008, so we haven't had Quick Ball for 11 years. Unlike Master Ball, as an example, the new printing is nothing like the old printing. What it does is it's an item card, and it reads, you may discard 1 card from your hand. If you do, search your deck for a basic Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Oh, well, that's pretty gosh darn good. This is exactly what we need. Now, there are parallels that can be drawn here to a couple of existing cards, and they are Ultra Ball and Nest Ball. Bearing in mind, Ultra Ball and Nest Ball are the 2 cards that we really lost that kind of ruined decks. If I'm honest with you. They're the ones that really ruined all of our evolution decks. Nest Ball let you search for a basic Pokemon and put it straight onto your bench. Ultra Ball let you discard 2 cards from your hand and then search for any Pokemon. And this is both better and worse than both of these cards. If we compare it to Nest Ball, obviously it's worse than Nest Ball, because Nest Ball, you just grab a basic Pokemon. This relies on you having to discard a card from your hand, which is awkward. However, it goes into your hand, and that can be pretty gosh darn big. So let's take something like Mewtwo, for instance. Mewtwo, the newest one, the good one, the one that was in Unbroken Bonds, has a really nice ability whereby when you play it from your hand onto your bench, you may search your discard pile for a supporter card and put it on top of your deck. But it only works when you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench. If you put it straight onto your bench with something like Nest Ball, you don't get it. Of course, we could also look at something like Dedenne, for instance. If it goes straight onto your bench, you don't get the ability, whereas if you use Quick Ball, you totally get the ability. So okay, you've got to discard a card from your hand in order to use it, but you know what? You get any basic Pokemon. And this is absolutely huge. Because let's take a deck I'm very keen of in Cosmic Eclipse. Alolan Ninetales. Love me some Alolan Ninetales. For 0 energy, you get to do 10 damage for each Pokemon tool card in your discard pile. It's a really fun deck. The problem is, we don't have great Pokemon search. Now, alright, we can use Professor Round's lecture to search out our basic Pokemon, as long as they've got 60 HP or less, which they will. But the problem is, that's your supporter card. It's your once per turn supporter card. So that's kind of annoying. If you want to use slightly bigger Pokemon, you could always use Fan Club, but that only gets you 2, and again, it's your once per turn supporter card. It's not ideal. You could use Pokemon Communication, but in order to use Pokemon Communication, you have to swap a Pokemon in your hand for one in your deck. So not only do you have to have Pokemon Communication, but you've also got to have another Pokemon in your hand that you're willing to shuffle back in. It's kind of awkward. For GXs, we have Cherish Ball. So something like Dedenne, we don't mind. We've got Cherish Ball. And for Lightning GXs, we've got Electromagnetic Radar. But other than that, you're really looking at a couple specific things. So if you're a grass deck, you can use Netball. It only gets your basics, but it does get your basics. To be fair, Quick Ball only gets your basics. And that actually also searches for your basic grass energy, which means it's good even when you've evolved up and all of that. And if you are a Psychic or Dragon deck, you've got Mysterious Treasure. But if you're something like a Alolan Ninetales running around as a Fairy or Water deck, you just don't have the options for getting out your basic Pokemon, which is why something like Quick Ball is huge. And make no mistake about it, this is huge. Absolutely gigantically huge. Because go and look at the results of any big tournament we've had lately, and essentially, either you're rocking a whole bunch of stuff like Pidgeotto so that you can get your Pokemon draw engine rolling with Professor Elm's lecture, or you're running a Psychic deck with something like Mysterious Treasure, or you're just going GXs with stuff like Cherish Ball. Things like Alolan Ninetales, or the new Excadrill. We've just not had great options. And now we actually have a legitimately great option. And also, think about all of those GX decks that play Jirachi. Many of them play Jirachi. Well, you know what? Jirachi isn't a GX, and Jirachi isn't a Psychic Pokemon. So there's no Cherish Ball, there's no Mysterious Treasure. Jirachi was phenomenal with Nest Ball, but we lost Nest Ball. All of a sudden, you're going to have all of these decks that can now search out their attackers and their Jirachi, and it's going to bring non-GXs back. This is going to transform our format into one where you can actually play non-GXs because you can get set up. What's that, you say? Basics aren't enough? We need a new way to search out some evolution Pokemon. Well, the bad news is I don't know what it's called. But the good news is I'm happy to confirm we're getting one of them as well, and it's a doozy. Unnamed item. Search your deck for an evolution Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. It is a straightforward search. Like Dive Ball was for water Pokemon, or Heavy Ball was for heavy Pokemon, Pokemon with high retreat cost, or Cherish Ball is for GXs. No discarding cards from your hand or any of that. Just a flat out, go draw your evolution. It is wonderful. And what's very strange is that we've actually taken a card that used to be a supporter and turned it into an item card. Because this is Professor Elm's training method. Search your deck for an evolution card, show it to your opponent, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck. And we're used to this going the other way. So one of the cards we're getting in Cosmic Eclipse is Erica. And Erica is a new supporter card. But Erica actually started life as, well, what was then the equivalent of an item card. And this happens quite a bit. Old cards basically come back as supporters because they were broken the way they were. Well, we're going the other way round. We're actually turning Professor Elm's training method into an item. I'd love to tell you what it was called. I have absolutely no idea, and that is the nature of this kind of information. Essentially what happens is, shops over in Japan, it doesn't really happen over here so much, but over in Japan, shops are given information about particular cards in an upcoming set to make them excited for sets coming out, so that they're going to stock them and sell them and all kinds of good stuff. And that's what we've got here. But it means that we end up with knowing what the card does, but we don't actually know everything about it. But to be clear, the old Scepter, the one from Celestial Storm, I did a video about that with pretty much the exact same information. The Dene GX itself, we had a video with pretty much identical information. Professor Elm's lecture, we did a video about with pretty much identical information. I've done multiple videos using these sources based on this kind of information in the past, and so far, we're batting 100. Like, there might be the odd little detail here or there, but we're batting supremely high. This information that leaks out like this is incredibly reliable. And searching out any evolution Pokemon is huge. It's phenomenal. It now means if you want to play something like Alolan Ninetales, you've got Quick Ball to get your basics, whatever this new item card is to go and get your evolution cards, and then all of a sudden, you're sitting there and you've actually got a reliable deck. And honestly, in an evolution deck, there's an argument that this pair of cards is better than Ultra Ball and Nest Ball. Nest Ball puts the basics straight onto your bench, and Ultra Ball means you've got to discard 2 cards from your hand, which you don't want to do. Now, the downside of this pair is Quick Ball only gets your basics, and the other one only gets your evolutions, so it's not perfect. But one more time, just so we're clear, evolution decks at the moment are borderline unplayable unless they're like Psychic decks where we're using Mysterious Treasure. They are not consistent enough. Well, that's about to change. And that's wonderful and brilliant. Now, there are actually a couple of other cards which have leaked, which are also awesome. We're already over 11 minutes in this video, so what I'm going to do is in an hour or two, I'll bring you another video showing you those other cards, and spoiler alert, they're also pretty gosh darned exciting. For now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about these cards. Now, we're not going to give proper WOSI scores until we've actually got the cards and we've got the images and we do proper analysis videos when they're confirmed, but these are both hands down, flat out, no question 5 WOSI cards, and it's not even close. These are, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, meta-defining cards. They will define the metagame in that they will make new decks viable, which will then change the landscape of the game we're playing. These are huge. And let's face it, right? Since the rotation hit, we have needed some new Pokemon search, so they're not before their time. But I want to know what you think about this, ladies and gentlemen, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WasiPlays, where we talk about a whole bunch of games that don't even have any Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.